Hi everyone, it's Beefy here. So I'm pretty sure nobody knows who I am because all this time I've only been doing YouTube Shorts. I have not really been doing anything outside of YouTube Shorts. However, I decided it was time for like my first actual YouTube video. So what I decided to go for was just character designs of some of my OCs and well, of my OC. I wouldn't say OCs, but like I was just thinking of ranting a little bit about my OC because I felt like that is usually the type of content creators I prefer to watch, the ones who rant about their OCs a lot. I just like to just put that up in the background and listen to it while I'm drawing. So today I'm going to be telling you guys about my OC. Before we begin, I would like to ask everyone who is watching this to like the video if you enjoy the video that you're watching right now and enjoy my rant, and subscribe to the channel if you want to get more content from me. Thank you so much. Now onto the video. Hey, I lost all of the footage while I was ranting about Elter's design. And now I'm really angry because I lost. That was like 5 whole minutes of footage. I know it's not that much. A lot of people go through worse, and I'm really mad about it. But you know what? I can redo it. I'll just redo it because now that I'm more used to talking like this, I'll be more confident about it. Yeah? Yeah. Elter is the main protagonist of our story, and he is also the first character that we will be drawing right now. So here's basically his story. In a world full of marks are similar to quirks. If you know My Hero Academia, if you don't, here's an explanation. Marks are powers that are given to everyone a few years after birth, usually from 5 to 7 years old. If you get marks before that, you're a prodigy. If you get them after that, you're a late bloomer. But our character Elter over here hasn't gotten his mark quite yet, even though you're supposed to get your mark by 7 years old. He is currently 17 and he still hasn't gotten his mark. No, he's not markless, he does have a mark. However, he hasn't gotten his yet, and because of that, he often gets bullied in his school about it. I just wanted to say that in this world, I'm not sure what to name the city yet. I've named it Sentinel for now, but I'm not sure. In Sentinel, everyone has a mark. There's no such thing as a markless person. Everyone has powers. It just depends on how useless or useful your powers are. That being like if you have like fire breathing or like water manipulation, you can have like more cooler powers, and there's a chance that you can have more boring powers, like let's say you can just make bubbles from like you can just make 1 bubble a minute or something like that. Elter was adopted by his 2 moms when he was just a baby, when he was left at their doorstep. For Elter, he always wanted to be a hero, similar to many other kids his age. It's not like a very uncommon thing to want to become a licensed hero. Yes, heroes here are also licensed. If you can't tell, I stole a lot from My Hero Academia. I am so sorry. I was watching My Hero Academia when I was like making these OCs, okay? Elter later forms this bond with one of his classmates whose name is Bort. Now, Bort is this extremely strong guy. He's like the top of his class, the king of his class basically, and he becomes really good friends with Bort. At first, Elter thought that Bort will be just like his other bullies and he'll be like really mean and stuff. But when Elter helps out Bort and patches him up, he kind of realizes that Bort isn't a bad person at all. Like he just never tried talking to Bort, and just Bort never knew he existed to begin with. And once they became friends, they became a little too close, let's say. Since Elter and his moms have such a good relationship, Bort often comes over to Elter's house because Bort himself doesn't really have a really good childhood, or like his family is extremely competitive, considering that both of his parents are like pro heroes and so is his sister. So Bort finds comfort in Elter's family and Elter's home, and he just really enjoys visiting them. They become really close, if you can't tell already. And Bort starts becoming a wall between Elter and his bullies, and basically protecting Elter. Elter only had one friend, and that was Bort. He doesn't really have any more friends. Due to the lack of Elter having a mark, Elter decided that he wanted to take all of his focus on studying so he doesn't feel inferior to the others. Of course, he's very insecure about the fact that he's the only one who doesn't have his mark yet. So he studies a lot, he goes through his books a lot, and if you can tell, I'm currently coloring his sweater brown, which I'm going to change very quickly because that was it looks cute, yes, but it didn't go well with what I was picturing for him. The thing was that I wanted to give Alter a bit of a nerdy but a bit emo-ish appearance. Yes, he's not in he's not in emo, but I wanted to give him that little fringe, and I just thought that I could make his colors darker to make him look more gloomy because he's a gloomy character. I also decided that the blue looked better on him than the brown did. The brown just didn't really give up the whole dark emo kind of thing that I was going for. Also, blue is a color of sadness. He's a sad boy. I also don't know why I decided to give him that many books. I guess it was for the nerd vibe. Thinking back now, I don't think he will be able to carry all of that. Considering the way I think of his physique being like really extremely thin because he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really take care of himself, and he feels like he always feels inferior about himself all the time, and he can't really gain weight even if he wants to. He's that type of character. I also gave him glasses because I thought he looked cute. Despite his appearance now, Elter is going to get a huge shift in appearance, and well, it's not, I guess you can call it a glow up. I don't know. I actually prefer this appearance of his more than his next appearance. It's kind of just to make him look different, but I do think he's adorable though. I really like how he looks. But yeah, that's about it, I think. So here, as you can see, I am finally done with Elter's appearance. Oh god, the audio completely cut out, and I have a feeling that this is somewhere here where the audio comes back.
Our regular Elter,
Really?
who doesn't
Now?
have any mark, and he's no one remarkable. Just
Now
like
you're going
it.
to come
But I
back.
do
Okay.
think he
Okay,
turned
talk your
out
shit,
really
whatever.
well.
I like how he looks. He's really adorable. Now we start moving into the territory of inspiration. I hope it could be said as inspiration because this part is heavily taken from Lookism. When Elter wakes up in the morning, he finds himself in the body of this blonde-haired, blue-eyed man. He has no idea who he is. He's suddenly tall. He has no idea what's going on. He's very confused. And what he also realizes, he now suddenly has a mark. So Elter here finds out that he can control shadows. And by controlling shadows, I mean like being able to make shadow clones. That he can literally go through shadows, he can control shadows, he can make things out of shadows. It's basically shadow manipulation. After gaining his mark, Elter decided to do what he always wanted to, which was to become a licensed professional hero. And obviously we do have licensed professional heroes here. And to do that, he needs to actually go to the Hero Association University. So now that Elter has this completely different appearance and this new power, he doesn't really want anyone in his new university to notice him. He doesn't want anyone to know who he is. He just wants to start from the very beginning. And so he introduces himself as Adis. Now, Adis very quickly establishes himself as very out of the ordinary. That is because this new mark that he got is, for some reason, extremely powerful. Even though marks are not exactly like skills that come as powerful to you, marks are usually extremely weak and you have to build them up. Marks are very similar to like other skills. Let's say strength or intelligence. In this case being that you might be born with more of it than other people. In that case, you will be a prodigy. Another way that people make their marks powerful is by constantly training them. That is why marks are usually really difficult to train, considering that marks can harm other people. You can accidentally harm someone. That is why people who do have powerful marks usually tend to be like really rich people who can afford having like a huge fighting area or like sparring area in their home to train their kids about their marks, or there's a lot of empty area where they can train. If you guys can't tell, I don't really have a script for all of this. This is my first YouTube video. I didn't prepare any script. I think I should have, now that I'm thinking about it. But oh well. Anyways, moving on to Adis. I'm not really sure. So what I'm currently coloring right now is Adis's college uniform. I decided that if it was such a pristine college, they should have a uniform to wear. Another thing that I gave him was this red scarf that is going to have a history connected to Bort, his first friend. If you haven't figured it by now, considering the amount of BL I make, Bort is not just a friend. I'm pretty sure that's pretty clear, but I just wanted to make sure you know that if you haven't watched my videos or don't know the type of content that I usually make. Next, I decided to add Adis's blue stripes that he has in his hair. I do not know why he has these blue stripes in his hair. I just know that the first time I designed him, he had these blue stripes, and you know what? It's pretty iconic. It's what makes him him. So I decided to keep it that way. I also decided that I wanted to darken his fingertips when he's using his powers, because I just felt like that would look cooler. Also, I decided to make the shadow this smoke-like thing. In the university, Adis does end up meeting someone he does know, and that being his bully, Acid. Now, at first he worries that Acid might recognize him, but he soon realizes that no one can recognize him, even Acid can't. Later on, he actually goes on to start protecting other students who are getting bullied in the university, and ends up actually finding really good friends who are all really powerful and have their own little secrets. But of course, we're not going to draw those characters this time around. We're going to do them next time. I hope there is a next time. Even now that he is Adis, Elter realizes that he can switch between Adis and Elter himself. However, this change comes way later on into the story. It also reveals a huge revelation of who the body of Adis actually is. And it also reveals about Elter's origins. And here is Adis. Believe it or not, one of Adis's main inspiration was actually Kenny McCormick from South Park. Crazy, I know. Other inspirations for Adis were obviously being Daniel from Lookism. I'm sorry, I don't know his Korean name. And I personally really like how he looks. I do feel like the blue in his hair is a little bit redundant, but then again, it was too iconic for me to not keep. Now we're moving on to something a little bit more special, which is Adis's hero costume. So here at this point, I was thinking that I was going to just remake the entire thing instead of just taking the base from Adis himself. So I decided to just make a whole new thing on its own, and I decided that this time I didn't want to do a small front-facing thing, and I was obviously struggling with the hands, as you can see. It actually took me a pretty long while before I finally got the hands right. Even then, I was not happy with how it was looking, so I just began flipping it around, hoping for an angle that was fine, until I just decided I'm just going to make it upside down. I feel like this was the piece that took me the longest. Not the specific piece, I mean like the hero costume piece, because of how much I just wanted to show off how his costume looks, and so I made 2 full body ones. But I'm going to regret it very soon, because normally the other 2 took me like 4 to 5 hours to make, which is very normal for me. I usually take 4 to 5 hours for each drawing, but this one took me 8 hours, and I was not able to move my wrist for a little while because I don't draw that much. I pumped these out really quickly, like one after the other. So this is where I started making the costume, and at first I was thinking that a high neck would be nice, until my brain said, no, high necks are too common. Like, you need to add something a little more to it. Just a simple high neck won't do. That's too common. Everybody does that. So I decided to add a weird cape. I have no idea how this works. I don't know. Aiden can figure it out himself. It's his clothes, not mine. After this, I was already regretting my decision for the cape, because the cape was very hard. I don't know if you can tell this or not. I'm not very good at drawing clothing. This cape had really a lot of crinkles. I don't like crinkles. I don't know why I decided I was going to torture myself like this. I just decided to do it. But Adis's costume is actually really fun to draw. I'll be honest, I really like the little leg thingies that I gave him, even though they make no sense. It just looks good. I'm sorry, it just looks good to me. And then I decided to give him a little hood, because obviously he controls shadows, so he's going to be a lot more in the darkness, and he would prefer to be more in the darkness. Of course, Adis is still a sunshine little baby. I just wanted to give him a more intimidating look, because I don't know, it just matched with his shadow powers, I guess. After this, I began to draw his hair, and I was like, what am I going to do with this hair in this last one? I decided to keep it open as I did with all the others, but I'm just going to be honest, I feel like it's a little bit longer than it should be. I know he has a rat tail, but it doesn't... it's longer than his rat tail should be. But you know what? It's fine. I'm not even an art major. I'm an English major. I can do whatever the hell I want. And oh, whoa, okay, I'm still doing the line art. As you can see, this took me a very long time. Okay, I finally coloring. So I wanted his suit to be black, and then I just wanted his suit to be black because it looked good. And then what am I going to do for the color of the cape? I was like, what am I going to do? And then, as I said, he's inspired by Kenny McCormick, so I made him Mysterion. If you have seen the South Park episodes with Mysterion, you know he looks like Mysterion. I'm so sorry. After this, I just decided to color, I don't even know what to call them, the lines on his legs and arms as blue. I was thinking of doing them golden. I feel like it would look better if it was golden, but I needed something to match his eyes. And his eyes and his hair was looking very out of place, so I decided to just go with blue because I don't know, it matched him. And now I'm just going on with the rendering. I can't render for my life, and this looks a little too much like Mysterion for my liking. I don't know why. Maybe I should change it, but I don't know what I would change it to. I actually quite like this design on him. Anyways, now I'm going in with his powers, and I decided to do this thing that I saw in Teen Titans that Raven has, where when she's using her magic, it's like her hand becomes white for some reason. The line art of her hands become white, so I'm doing that. And now I'm making these weird creatures that are going to be his shadow puppets that I wanted to make. Adis in his hero form doesn't really switch personalities. He's still Adis. So it might look a little bit off to see someone who's wearing this kind of costume and like literally has shadow powers acting like a sweet little baby. But he does act like a sweet little baby, and I decided to give him the name Nocturnal because I felt like that's what would match him the most. Nocturnal is, as I said, inspired by characters like Mysterion, Raven, and even a little bit of Batman, considering that he is a night hero, but he doesn't act like them. And I feel like I wanted to make a character who has dark powers and acts like a little sweetheart instead of acting like a gloomy, grumpy person like you would expect them to, or like a really serious character. I really enjoyed ranting about Nocturnal, Elter, and 80s. I love it. I should do this more often. I probably will do this more often if this video does well, because as much as I love ranting about them, it takes so long to draw them. My goodness, my hands hurt. And I'm going to go to bed now because it's literally 2 in the morning. Good night.